San Jose ranked fourth in the US for living. Yeah. And what you get for $1 million. And then we're going to go through the inventory and month supply, et cetera. I redid it and it took me a little bit longer than I wanted to. And then I might do a little bit of a rant. All right, let's get moving. Report ranks Bay Area City one of the best places to live, by local experts say it doesn't add up. And I can tell you why. There's a lot of reasons why. Affordability, right? How else can I explain it to you? Affordability. We have a huge epidemic of homeless and trash and governmental oversight that's not taking the money that they take from us and using it correctly. So it's not the politicians, it's the money, the bean counters, and everybody else inside each department saying this is how we've always done it and things need to change. I don't have a problem with San Jose. It's not the best place in the Bay Area to live, I'll tell you that for a fact, but there's a lot of stuff that you have access to. You have access to social benefits, which is another magnet for homelessness, right? And I have nothing wrong with the homeless. That was awesome. I don't know what happened. I hope I'm still recording. Okay. Anyway, US World Report rankings for the 25th best places to live. San Jose is in the number 4 spot, and it's based on housing affordability, residents' well-being, and job market. I'll give you job market for a fact, right? The number 1 spot was Ann Arbor, Michigan. I have a friend that lives there. And then Boulder, Colorado. I have an aunt and uncle that live there. And then Madison, Wisconsin, and nobody wants to live there, right, Craig? Portland, Maine, of course. So the one thing you do have is if you have a high-tech job, you're making good money, but all that money goes into cost of living. We talked about that a couple of weeks or last week about like it being 50-60% of your wages to afford to buy a median priced house. We do have quick access to a lot of things. We don't have as much congestion as LA. It's not as spread out as LA or other places, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And quite frankly, if you want to go skiing on Saturday and then go to the beach on Sunday, you can do that. It's just a matter of a few hours drive back and forth. Completely up to you how you want to do that. You have access to lots of different things in California. But my argument is that you have that everywhere else. Oh, but the weather. Yeah, it gets cold here. It doesn't snow, but it does get cold, California cold. And it's a different kind of cold than if you're in the snow. And the only way to explain that is if you live here and you understand that. And we're finally getting rain. So we do have drought conditions quite often, but we're also the number 1 agricultural place in at least the United States, right? 70% of the agriculture that we grow goes to everywhere else in the US. There's another piece here that I want to show you. Doesn't reflect the reality for most residents. Now, this is more of a social point of view. Affordability is extremely high here. You have to make a lot of money to be able to afford to live here, period. Having a job at McDonald's, getting paid minimum wage, it's not affordable to live here, which is why a lot of the fast food joints here are folding up. Rent's going up, cost of insurance is going up, cost of franchising is going up, and cost of labor is going up. That's why those fold. That's business sense, right? So yeah, it doesn't reflect a lot. And I know of families that live 1 or 2 or 3 families living in one house to be able to afford to live here. It's just the fact of life. However, on the other side, there's a lot of other people that can afford to live here and make good money, and they're in the technical services, but they pay through the nose for everything, including food, including services and repairs and what have you. I know I'm paying like $200, $250 an hour for my mechanic to fix cars, but that's because that's the cost of living here. It's just a fact of life. So middle class does struggle here, and it's absolutely true. So yeah, absolutely. So when you're looking at world, and that's not 1.52, I think it's 1.52. We've been at 1.52 for a really long time. We've stalled and plateaued. Now prices are going to continue to go up, but the median price, whatever that is, I think it's 1.7, will continue to creep up, just so you know. And we have this thing called Measure E in place in San Jose that, in my opinion, is preventing houses from getting any more expensive. For homeowners, this is a bad thing. E doubles the transfer tax or goes crazy expensive once you go over $2 million. And then there's a $5 million tick and a $10 million tick. Anyway, it's like a progressive tax that we put into place. We voted it in, which I didn't. I just don't, And this money that was supposed to be raised is supposed to go towards homelessness. And yet we still have a homeless problem. Anyway, the idea is once you realize you're buying a $2.5 million house and your options is Los Gatos, Cupertino, or a $3 million house, or San Jose, and it costs this much to buy a house, the transfer tax, and then when I go to sell it, it's going to cost me that much versus Los Gatos, I'm going to go to Los Gatos. It's nicer. I don't have to deal with homeless. It's cleaner. It's better run. So San Jose is in a world of hurt right there. So yeah, there's a culture shock or an expectation shock when you go to buy a house and you have all these wants and needs on your bucket list of things that you want for your house. And it's a smack in the face to a lot of people because when you go to buy a $1.5 million house, you're expecting to buy a really nice house. Not anymore. Things have changed. So again, I can tell you for a fact, you go to Knoxville, Tennessee, you're not going to have the choices of restaurants and the different kinds of foods that we have here. We have so many different multiple cultures, so many amazing foods, and so many dynamic people that you do have the opportunity to enjoy multiple different types of ethnic cuisine. And it's amazing, right? You don't get that in flyover states like Knoxville. You just don't. Let's talk about what you get for $1 million in Santa Clara County. Now, I'm picking out Rahway because I just happened to see it. I bought my first house on Plaza and Inverno. So let me open this up real quick so you can see it. I'm going to drop into the next scene so you can see it a little bit bigger. So my first house was right here. It was in the same complex. That was my house right here, if you want to look at it. This guy right here. I bought it for $225,000, sold it for $425,000 or $450,000. Then we moved to where we're living now. That was 20 years ago. So if you want to know where it is specifically, that's the Santa Clara County. That's, yeah, there's 85 and 101. That's the area. And this is a patio home. It's not a condo or town. It's like a townhouse. They're single family detached, but they're in an HOA. I want to say they're like 5 years old now, 86, 40 years old. And this is a 3-bedroom, 3 full bath, 1,600 square feet, 38 years old. First day on market, $1 million. Get that. I should tell my mom because this is actually the same model my mom lived in. She lived in another street down the road there. But these are great little starter homes. It's a great starter home. It's a well-run HOA, great people. They really updated this house. This is beautiful. Really well done. This is going to sell really quick. That's a beautiful house. My parents lived on Otona Court right here. So we were walking distance to each other. And then she said, "Go to hell, Vito. I'm moving to Folsom." That's cool. This is their house right there. And she had an amazing view. She loved it. And she hated moving to Folsom. Their house was nice, but that was cool. 2 things to talk about. And just really quickly, I had to redo these numbers. I don't want to show you the county numbers because they're wrong. I realized I didn't put in single family. So I'm redoing this chart right here. So don't look at it. But right here, this is single family homes, all the cities in Santa Clara County, as well as the red one is Santa Clara County. So you can have a baseline, and then this is against the US. And obviously this one we talked about last year, it's Los Altos Hills, and it takes a lot longer to sell $30 million houses than it does to sell $1 and $3 million houses. So keep that in mind. Okay, so today we talked about San Jose being the 4th best place to live in the US if you got the money. And if you got the money, I'll show you where to spend it outside of San Jose because they're much better places. Morgan Hill and Los Gatos and Cupertino and Mountain View. Love Mountain View. We talked about what you can get for $1 million in Santa Clara County and the numbers, the charts here, this inventory. We still have a low inventory compared to demand. We are seeing inventory numbers jump up a little bit, but not enough. Again, we need to be at 1,000, 900 to 1,000, and we're at like 200 or 300.